Bonjour classe, bienvenue! Aujourd'hui, on va apprendre les adjectifs possessifs. So welcome. Today we are going to learn possessive adjectives. Now, this seems like a really big word, but it's really not. You use possessive adjectives every day in English. So you already know them in English, but you just don't know what they're called. So we're going to go through and talk about what they're like in English, and then we're going to go through and talk about what they're like in French. Donc, on va commencer. So we're going to go ahead and start. So, possessive adjectives in French. With French, the apostrophe S, like we have in English, does not exist. So you can't say Madame's classroom. You have to say, this is the classroom of Madame, or this is her classroom. But in English, we can just say, oh, I'm going to Madame's classroom. So the apostrophe S in French does not exist, which is why we have to do like a little workaround with these. So, for example, we could say Marc's pen, but in French, we have to say the pen of Marc or le stylo de Marc. So, as you've seen before, one way to say possession is with de. So when we learned the contractions with de, this was one way to say that somebody owned something. And possession is just talking about something that belongs to someone. So, des exemples, we have Marc est le frère de Lucien. So, Marc is the brother of Lucien. And c'est la chaise de Madame Luer. So, this is the chair of Madame Luer. C'est le bureau de Maxent. So, this is the desk of Maxent. And you kind of get the pattern. So, in order to express one way of saying that somebody owns something is by saying the blank of so-and-so. But there's an easier way to say it, which is why we're going to learn possessive adjectives. So, translate the following from English to French. You should all know this vocab. So we have Gaston's desk is le bureau de Gaston. And Adèle's brothers are les frères d'Adèle. And Marie's mother is la mère de Marie. So basically it's the desk of Gaston, the brothers of Adèle, and the mom of Marie. So that's one way that we make a workaround without having that apostrophe S in French is by using de. The other way to do it is by using possessive adjectives. So with possessive adjectives, we use them to basically express possession or ownership of something, which is why they're called possessive adjectives. So in English, they're like my and yours, his, etc. They're called possessive adjectives because they modify the noun that they're talking about. So if I wanted to say pen, the possessive adjective modifies pen. It changes pen. So they have to agree in gender and number of the noun that they're talking about. So my pen would have to agree, my would have to agree with pen, etc., etc. So just like we've normally talked about, like with adjective agreement, now we have possessive adjectives, and possessive adjectives have to agree in gender and number. So whether it's masculine or feminine or singular or plural. So possessive adjectives are a lot like definite and indefinite articles that we learned already earlier this year. There's a masculine and a feminine and a plural form. If you don't remember the definite or indefinite articles, here are some examples. Well, here they are. So we have un and le for masculine, indefinite and definite, une and la for indefinite and definite feminine, and des and les for the plural indefinite and definite articles. So if you don't remember those, take a screenshot real quick, look them over because these are going to show up everywhere in French. So you have to know them. If you don't know them, there's no way around it. You absolutely have to know them. Okay, so to express my, like to say something is yours, like mine. If I want to say this is my computer, my lesson, etc., etc. If we're talking about something that's masculine, or if it's a feminine but it's a vowel, we use mon. So mon, M-O-N, is to say my if it's masculine or feminine with a vowel. So for example, we have mon chien, which means my dog, and we have mon ami, which is my friend, but ami, the E on the end, is a girl, so it's a friend that's a girl. So if we put ma in front of it, it would be ma ami, and it doesn't really sound right. So we have to use the masculine if it's a feminine, but it's a vowel, so mon ami. The feminine of my is ma. So we have ma sœur, my sister, like ma mère, ma tante, my mom, my aunt, etc. Pluriel is the plural, and we have mes, like mes parents, my parents, mes amis, my friends, mes animaux domestiques, my pets, etc. So we have mon, ma, and mes. So those are the three for my. There's the masculine, the feminine, and the plural. So don't forget those as we go on. You'll start to see a pattern. So your, we have ton, ta, and te. So remember the my's were mon, ma, and mes. So the only thing that's different here is we change from an M to a T. So the same thing with the masculine or a feminine before a vowel, you stick with ton. So ton chien or ton ami, and this means your. Like if you're using the subject pronoun to, like if you were talking with a friend and you want to say, oh, is this your dog? You'd say ton chien, etc. For feminine, you use ta, like ta sœur. So you could say, oh, I like your sister. J'aime ta sœur. I like your sister. Pluriel, the plural is tes. So tes parents, your parents. So I could say, these are mes parents. These are my parents. Et ce sont tes parents. And these are your parents. So far we have mon, ma, and mes, which mean my. We have ton, ta, and te, which means your in the informal. That's super important to remember, the informal. If you struggle with keeping the informal and the formal separate, think of like two informal, starts with the T, ton, that might help. His, her, and it. So this is il, elle, and on. So il, elle, and on, we have the same pattern with mon, ma, mes, ton, ta, te. Now we have son, sa, se. So all we do is change that first letter, son chien, son ami, so masculine or feminine before a vowel, sa sœur for the feminine, and ses parents for the plural. So son, sa, and se for his, her, or its. Our. So with the subject pronoun nous, we change things a little bit. There's only two forms now. So if it's masculine or feminine or before a vowel, but it's singular, anytime it's singular, you're going to use notre. So notre is for anything that's only one item. So notre chien, our dog, notre ami, our friend, and notre sœur, our sister. Now, if it's plural, there's more than one, you use no. So we have notre, notre, and no. So notre for masculine and feminine, and no for plural. Your for the formal or the plural. So when we're talking about the subject pronoun vous, this is the possessive adjective that you need to use. So again, there's only two forms. So we have votre for the masculine or the feminine before a vowel. Anytime it's singular, you're going to use votre. So we have votre chien, votre ami, and votre sœur. That means your dog, your friend, your sister. And then the plural is vos. So we just take the new form that we just learned and switch it out for a V. So anytime it's plural, there's more than one, you're going to use vos. There. So this goes with the il and l plural subject pronoun, they. So ILS and ELLES. So this goes with there, so with them. So there in French, there's two forms. There's leur and leur. They're pronounced the same. Only difference is that one has an S. So if it's plural, you just add an S onto the end. So masculine and feminine, anytime it's singular, one item, you're going to use leur, that first one. So leur chien, leur ami, and leur sœur. So their dog, their friend, and their sister. If it's more than one item, then you're going to use leur with an S. So we have leurs parents, their parents. Okay, so review of possessive adjectives. I put the subject pronouns on the left-hand side here. So you have je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, and il, elle. If you do not know these subject pronouns, you have to know the subject pronouns. There's no way around it. You absolutely have to know them. If you don't know them going into French 2, we're going to have some problems. So you have to know the subject pronouns on the very left-hand side there. So je, to say like my, you use mon, ma, or mes. For to say yours, you say ton, ta, or te. Remember, that one is the informal. For il, elle, on, his, her, one, its, you say son, sa, and say. Now the next three are pretty easy because there's only two forms. So there's just a singular and a plural. So for our with nous, you use notre and nos. For your with the formal or the plural. So if you were talking to me, you'd use vous. Or if you were talking to multiple people, you'd use vous. You use votre and vos. For they and them, you use leur and leur. So the only difference between those two is that you just have to add an S onto the end of leur. Okay, so here's some practice questions. So my, and tell me what my is for grand-père. Your informal, and tell me your informal sister. Our and cousine, so tell me our cousins. Their and mom, so their mom. Your plural dog, so careful, I'm telling you the plural here, that gives you a hint. His tante, so his aunt. Her and grandmère, so tell me what her and grandmère is. His and copine, remember copine means like girlfriend or boyfriend. So copine is girlfriend, copain is boyfriend. So we're trying to say his girlfriend. Their and grandparents. Their cat. Your informal, and then put that in there for books. So your books. Your formal, and then neveu is nephew. Our and uncle. Her and brother. Their, put the possessive adjective for their for beau-père. My and femme. Femme is wife. So tell me my wife. Et c'est tout. So quick review about possessive adjectives before I let you go. Possessive adjectives for my, we have mon, ma, and mes. For your, it's ton, ta, te. His, her, its, son, sa, say. Our is notre and nos. Your formal is votre, vos. And their is leur, leur. So you have the possessive adjectives and you know them, but be careful that you don't try to make the possessive adjective agree to the person that you're, or the thing that you're talking about. So for example, I'll go back to this one. So with my, the my needs to agree with wife, not with who's talking. So I'm a girl, so I wouldn't make my agree with me. It would have to agree with femme. So it doesn't agree with the person that is talking. It agrees with what is being possessed. So I just want to make sure that that's clear. Mais c'est tout. So that